My wife and I bought our Tesla Model Y back in December and paid $10,000 extra for the full self-driving option, which at the time seemed like an outrageous amount of money, but at the same time, Elon Musk was really pushing the idea that the beta version of full self-driving was going to be out soon and everybody would get it really soon and it would be totally worth it. Well, it's May right now. Where the hell is my full self-driving? Hey y'all, it's Dr. Know-It-All. So I think I'm taking a page out of the Angry Astronaut's book here today. I'm in a little bit of a pissed off mood. Partially, I think it's because we're moving and I'm super stressed out. But anyway, if you haven't seen my interview with the Angry Astronaut, definitely check it out. It's up there. Anyway, I want to talk about Elon Musk and his I don't honestly think it's on purpose. I think he just gets very enthusiastic and he's always like, it's coming next month. All this stuff is so cool. You can't wait to see it. And then it doesn't happen. And what happens, of course, is that pisses off the normal consumer, including me. I'm getting kind of angry right now because we've been sitting on this for so long and haven't seen the full self-driving beta. So I'm going to go through a few tweets starting in March of this year. This goes way, way back before that. And honestly, you see the tweets go by and you think to yourself, oh yeah, I'll remember all this stuff, but it's really, really hard because there's a lot and Elon tends to clump them together. So interestingly enough, you'll see that like there's a few from the beginning of March and then a whole bunch from right around the same time in April and then a whole bunch from right around the same time in early May. But anyway, I just want to make it very explicit. I'm not trying to be exhaustive here with all the tweets. It would take me forever just to find them, much less actually read them. But I want to give a flavor for what's been going on the last few months, specifically with the full self-driving beta version 9 release. Also, I want to note there are two topics that are tied up. Number one is the full self-driving subscription option. Right now, you have to pay $10,000 for full self-driving. That's just period. In the future, which was supposed to be right now, there is going to be a subscription option that will allow you to pay a monthly amount so that you can, kind of on the fly determine whether you want it or not. But anyway, that is completely tied up with the version 9 release, apparently. So basically, the subscription option and the version 9 release are going to be somehow linked together. Or then again, maybe not. It's really hard to tell because the tweets kind of go back and forth on that as well. So anyway, let's start with March 1st. Whole Mars Catalog, who by the way has Elon's ear, so congrats on that. It's a pretty rare privilege. Anyway, on March 1st, he said, Elon, people are dying for FSD subscriptions. When is it launching? Elon said Q2 for sure. So if we think about Q2, that would be the end of June, basically. So I still think this is probably going to happen, although at later times Elon said that it was definitely going to happen in May. He said it was a sure thing it was going to happen in May. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case anymore, but we'll get to that in just a minute. Anyway, as a follow-up to this conversation, on March 6th, Elon said, due to high levels of demand for FSD beta, adding, quote, download beta button to service section of car display in approximately 10 days. He also followed up saying availability varies by region due to regulatory approval delays and/or Tesla internal development and testing. So just to make a note of that, that was March 6th. It is now May 24th. Yes, May 24th as I'm recording this. That was not 10 days. It certainly did not happen. So at the very least, let's just call that a very, very hard tease from Elon. So that pretty well sucks. He got all of our hopes up really, really high that we were going to have this download full self-driving beta button by the end of March at the very least, and it still hasn't appeared. And that's emotionally difficult. Okay, so now let's skip to just a little bit over a month later into the middle of April. As we get to April, there's an interesting shift, and that is that Elon starts talking about removing radar entirely. And by the way, I've done another video on that, but it's an amazing thing, and apparently that is happening. They are no longer going to include radar in future versions of Teslas, and that is pretty impressive. So again, as opposed to other companies that have LiDAR and radar, Tesla is going to depend completely on vision and apparently ultrasonics for things that are close by to the car. Anyway, on April 9th, Owen Sparks said, does this mean you can remove the radar from production or will it still be included as a backup? Elon said, remove. So that right there is absolutely huge and probably explains a lot of why the delay that's actually happened has happened. Because of course, remember that originally they were talking about releasing version 8.3 of the software to the public and now they're to version 9. So there's a really big shift in timing and there's a lot of shift in terms of the capability of the whole system. There was a tweet, I couldn't go back and track it down, but anyway, Elon definitely definitely said that the difference in the two between 8.3 and 9 was so big, and that they were moving all of their effort into pure vision, that there was no real sense in them continuing to work on version 8.3, so there was no sense in releasing that to the public. So I think that explains a whole lot of why this timing has changed, but still, it's very unfortunate for us consumers. So anyway, on April 14th, Elon Musk said, Tesla AI/autopilot engineering is awesome, making excellent progress solving real-world AI. Falcon 9 Block 5 said, any update on releasing the beta button? Elon Musk replied, major improvements are being made to the vision stack every week. Beta button hopefully next month. So that would be approximately sometime in May. He continued saying, this is a quote march of nines, trying to get probability of no injury above 99.999999% of miles for city driving. Production autopilot is already above that for highway driving. Zach then said, what about the full self-driving subscription? To which Elon replied, same timing. So again, if you haven't seen my 99.99999 or whatever percent video, you can watch it up there. But basically, they're trying to make the cars a lot safer than human beings, like orders of magnitude safer than human drivers. But to the point, of course, the commitment was May for both full self-driving beta version 9 wide release and for the subscription option. Now, just to be clear, a few minutes later, Elon Musk did come back and tweet, button timing of May is aspirational. Depends on how well limited beta of version 9 goes, but I would be surprised if wide beta, aka button, is later than June. Full self-driving subscription next month is a sure thing. So again, we've pushed the timeline back. Remember, March 16th was the original. Now we're to June for the button and May for the full self-driving subscription. Notice that it is almost the end of May and we still have not seen that. So now let's move on to May. On May 11th, Gary Black said, now how about that FSD version 9 beta expansion and subscription launch, Elon? That's what we're all waiting for. To which Elon replied, we had to focus on removing radar and confirming safety. That release goes out next week to US production, then a week or two to polish pure vision FSD and version 9 beta will release. Difference between 8 and 9 is gigantic. And a few minutes later, in response to the same question, he says subscription rolls out in about a month. So again, here you can see what the issue is. Basically, they went from version 8.3, which was still using radar, to version 9, which doesn't have it anymore. So it is a really big gap. But again, it's unfortunate for our emotions and for our plans for the future, in all honesty, that this is such an amorphous date and it keeps slipping and slipping and slipping. So to continue, on May 12th, NeuralNet Neil said, any details on the version 9 beta expansion? Is it still going to be people selected by Tesla who have applied? Elon then said, I think we're maybe a month or two away from wide beta, but these things are hard to predict accurately. The work we had to do for pure vision driving was needed for full self-driving, so much more progress has been made than it would seem. And in another part of this thread, Leo Williams said, very exciting, will pure vision eliminate the phantom braking with bridges/overpasses? And Elon Musk said yes to that. So that, by the way, is huge. Radar has big issues with seeing large flat surfaces like overpasses or even large highway signs, and it will phantom brake on the highway and on city streets, etc. So that is going to resolve that issue, and that is going to be huge. But anyway, again, back to the timing issue, you can see that now the timing of the full self-driving wide release has slipped to potentially as much as August, because again, it's like a month or two, and this was in the beginning of May, so we could say July, and so it could go to the end of July or maybe the very beginning of August. So again, time is slipping and slipping and slipping into the future, right? And again, I can see why this is happening, because they have changed things from what they originally had, which was 8.3 that was partially radar based, to version 9, which is not partially radar based and entirely vision based. So it's a whole new system that they have to go back from ground up and retest and recertify. But still, it's very unfortunate for us consumers that we keep getting conflicting information and we keep getting these dates that keep slipping and slipping. And finally, one more little interesting tidbit, which was from Viv in Europe, apparently. Any update RE smart summon functionality in Europe? To which Elon Musk replied, end of the year, along with full self-driving, provided we get regulatory approval. Smart summoning is just a subset of full self-driving. So the cool part about that for those of you living in Europe is, assuming regulations are approved and all of that stuff, regulatory bodies approve it, that you all should have this relatively quickly after the United States, only a few months. Then again, the United States, we were supposed to have it by the end of the year, last year, and then we were supposed to have it by March 15th or 16th, and now it's like August, so who knows when this is all going to happen. But anyway, hopefully Europe will not be too far behind the the United States, and I would expect Canada will be pretty fast on its heels as well. So anyway, on the positive end of things, I see why Elon Musk and Tesla especially have done what they have done and have slipped the timing to try to make this a better product and to just kind of do it in a one-shot deal rather than trying to test out some beta software that nobody's interested in anymore. The problem, of course, is Elon Musk and his Twitter habits. He makes us all so excited and he makes us think it's all right around the corner. I've seen a lot of people say that Elon's thing is always to say like about a month. And he always says that. You notice that. We get these things where it's like things are about a month away or a few weeks away or something like that. So it's always pushing, it's kicking the can down the road. And that becomes super frustrating for us consumers. So again, you know, Elon, I don't want you to feel like you have to like, you know, be a normal CEO and only say things that are pre-approved. But I want you to understand that you're playing with our emotions as consumers. You know, we buy very expensive stuff. These cars are super expensive cars. The full self-driving is a super expensive option. And part of that deal is the excitement about getting in and utilizing this new beta software and being able to drive the future. That's part of why we're interested in the cars. So my suggestion is just try to be a little bit more gentle with our emotions in the future. Thank you. All right, I hope you enjoyed this episode. It turned out I didn't rant quite as much as I expected to. I kind of was, I don't know, I was like justifying Elon Musk as I was going. But anyway, if you enjoyed the episode or if you want me to rant some more, definitely like this video and subscribe for more of this stuff. Also, as always, a huge shout out to my patrons on Patreon. You all are wonderful. We're getting a new house with a really big studio, and that's all thanks to you guys. We're going to, you know, you're going to see. It's going to be chaos for a couple of months, but when it's all like said and done, it's going to look so much better than what I have right now. So thank you all so much for your support. I really, really do appreciate it. And don't forget about WeBull, which is a stock and crypto trading platform. If you look in the description, you click on the link and open an account, you get one stock valued at up to $250. And if you fund the account with $100 or more, you get a second free stock valued at up to $1,600. So that is a fantastic deal. Check it out in the description. And of course, don't forget about our merch store, which has awesome t-shirts like Tesla Rockets for the People, Don't Mess with Tesla, other t-shirts, tumblers, mugs, etc. So check out the link in the description. And finally, don't forget we are both Amazon and Tesla affiliates. If you look in the description, you can see how clicking a link and going shopping helps the channel. Thank you so much. And as always, feel free to ask me questions in the comments or at my email address, which is drknowitallknows@gmail.com. Until next time, bye-bye.